Canadian trip back home now. Just how good are you feeling about the way the team's playing right now?
Well, when you're on the road, you hope the guys play solid, and sometimes it's not pretty. You just got to play a nice road game, and I think we've done that. We found ways to battle back, and we just found ways to play a solid, greasy road game, and these guys have no quit in them, so good for them.
In that last game, how did that come out in full force, down 2-0 to Laval, and you come roaring back with goals in the second and third, and a shootout winner? I'm sure as a coaching staff, the stress levels were pretty high, but at the end result was a good one.
You see the bags under my eyes, but no, and hats off to those guys, and you've been around them enough, and these guys are just coaching themselves now, that's when you know you got a team. Guys are accountable to each other, and they were. They knew they weren't generating enough. They knew they had to clamp down in certain areas. And when they did that, they created some opportunities for themselves, and they capitalized on them.
And it's been impressive to watch, too, just because there's no Dylan Secure, no Matthew Highmore, no Adam Boquist, Dennis Gilbert. Whoever you put in there, they've been able to contribute. It's not just one or two guys that have been jumping in there, grabbing the limelight.
Yeah, and, I'm not afraid to mix the lines up, but, Matty Thompson, McLaughlin coming in the lineup, Ozapov coming up, Yaud's coming up. These guys have just contributed where we need them. They've done their job, and the hats off to them. And the big thing, too, here is I think the guys accept that. They accept who's in our lineup. They're not, always, how come we don't have this guy or this guy? It doesn't matter who's in. They open arms to everybody, and when they're part of the team, and we play a good team.
How much of a spark has Vadine given you since coming back down here and picking up some of those late game winners for you?
Yeah, he's got to play his game, and that's what he does. He's just north and south type player. He's a smart hockey player, and he pushes the pace. I think sometimes you wonder when they come down how they're going to be, but he's a true pro. And, obviously he scored that big goal for us the one game. And, we're happy to have him, but I don't think we'll have him much longer.
Goalie, get some too.
Once the roster settles for a while, are you getting comfortable with any certain lineup, or is there always?
I'm always going to change it. I think these guys, and it's not changing it because they're terrible. It's changing it just to give them chances to play with other guys. And sometimes you need to shake up something in the third. Hopefully I don't have to shake it up in the first period, but the third period I'm okay with doing it. But I think it's good for these guys to play different. I had Kershev a few times last game on the left wing, so it's good for these guys to try different positions too.
Goalie play's been strong lately. Lankinen had the out-of-his-mind record-breaking game last week. Delia stepped up. Just how happy are you with the way things are going there?
I mean, the goaltending hasn't been a problem. We had a little blimp there with Delia not maybe playing his best, but we weren't playing our best hockey in front of him. And now I think we're playing better hockey in front of him, and he's playing really well for us, so it's good to see him get a win.
When you see Kevin just playing like that, though, lights out, what's it like watching a goalie perform on that kind of a stage on that level?
Well, it gets frustrating because we're giving up too much chances, but I think it's, he's from when we saw him in the Worlds there to now, he's kept it going, and it's great for him.
How surprised have you been with the response of your team? You mix up the lines, you mix up the goaltending, new players coming in, players leaving. For some teams, that could really rattle a group that are so used to playing with a certain amount of players or a certain style of players. But it seems like it doesn't matter what you do, you put them all together and you get the results.
Well, that's I don't want to say that's my coaching technique of making these guys play with different players all the time, but it's true. Like if they're used to playing with, doesn't matter who's on their line, then it doesn't matter who's on their line, and that's what they've done. They've adapted to that, and good for them to do that. But it makes my job a lot easier, knowing I can just throw them out with anybody, and they're going to have a good shift.
It's a whirlwind month here, a lot of games. How much are you looking forward to a little break after this weekend?
Well, I think my wife's waiting for me to get home, so I haven't seen her in a while. But it's good. I think it's good for everybody. These are the days where you guys start getting sick, the flu, the sniffles, the little groin injuries or little nagging pains. That these 3 or 4 days is going to be key for us.
Any plans?
Nope, I'm home. I got my oldest coming in from Saginaw, and the boys are off school. We'll just kind of hang, maybe go into the city and stare at some lights.
Well, before you do that, you got two big games. You got Texas. Last time you saw them was the wild 7-6 shootout contest, and then Cleveland. Last time you saw them in Cleveland, it didn't turn out so well. So how important are these two contests before you can enjoy the holiday season?
Well, like I said, the Christmas break, I mentioned it to the guys, doesn't start until after that second game. And these are two teams we need a little payback. You know, we lost some points to them. Cleveland really was like men against boys there. That weekend we were in Cleveland. So hopefully our guys respond and we come back and give them a good game.